The voice sliced through the nursery like a blade wrapped in silk. The crash came a heartbeat later. A crystal vase exploded on the marble floor, shards skidding across the tile, one fragment stopping just inches from Maya Williams' swollen belly. Her back hit the wall behind her with a soft thud as her hands flew protectively over her stomach. Her heart pounded in her ears, louder than the shrill wail of the 1-year-old now sobbing in the crib beside her. But this chaos didn't start with broken glass. Just 5 minutes earlier, Evelyn Whitmore had been alone with her daughter, attempting to feed her a bottle of warm milk. Maya had been folding laundry in the hallway when she heard the frustrated huffs and sharp commands. "Drink it, Emily. For God's sake, just drink." Evelyn's voice cracked, followed by the sound of the baby's cry rising like a siren. Maya had rushed in. Emily's face was scrunched, her arms flailing, and milk had spilled down her chin and onesie. Evelyn, flushed and tense, gripped the bottle with white-knuckled fingers. "Mrs. Whitmore," Maya had said carefully, approaching slowly. "If you tilt the bottle a bit more upright, she might—" "I don't need a lecture from a glorified nursemaid," Evelyn snapped. "She's choking, ma'am." Maya's voice remained calm, but she reached out to adjust Emily's position. That was when Evelyn had shoved her backward, not hard enough to fall, but firm enough to make her stumble. And now, after Maya's gentle interference, Evelyn had spiraled into something darker. Emily was still crying, the distress in her tiny body echoing off the marble floors and high ceilings. Maya pushed off the wall and moved instinctively, scooping the child into her arms, rocking gently. "Shh, baby girl. It's okay, I've got you." But Evelyn wasn't finished. Standing beneath the delicate gold chandelier in her designer heels, her icy blue eyes narrowed with disgust. Her perfect makeup didn't shift, not even as she took a deliberate step forward, heel crunching against the glass. "Don't act like you're a saint," she hissed. "You think I don't see what you're doing? Playing hero to my daughter? Undermining me in my own house with your bleeding heart and bastard child?" Maya held Emily tighter, willing her arms not to shake. The baby's cheek pressed against her collarbone, damp with tears. "Mrs. Whitmore," Maya said, low and even. "She's frightened. Maybe we can talk when—" "Don't patronize me," Evelyn screamed. "You stepped in like I was hurting her. She was just being difficult. But no, you had to come running in like some savior. I should have known better than to let someone like you near her." At that moment, the nursery door swung open with force. Luke Whitmore stood in the frame, his tailored suit immaculate, his expression unreadable until his eyes landed on the shattered vase, the crying child, and his wife's flushed face. "What the hell is going on?" His voice was cool but laced with danger. Evelyn spun toward him, her features instantly shifting into something softer, almost wounded. "She pushed me," she said breathlessly, gesturing to Maya. "I was trying to feed Emily, and she barged in and ripped her out of my arms." Maya froze. Her mouth opened, but no words came. Emily whimpered softly against her shoulder. Luke's gaze snapped to Maya. "Is that true?" "No, sir, I would never." She stormed in like I was hurting our daughter. Evelyn interrupted, tears welling up theatrically. "She took her from me, Luke. She pushed me aside, like I was the danger." Luke looked between the two women, jaw tight, breath shallow. He said nothing for a moment too long. Maya felt it like a slap. The hesitation, the doubt. She stepped forward slightly, her voice steady. "I came in because Emily was choking. I tried to help. I didn't push her." She did," Evelyn insisted. "Ask Emily's crying face if she didn't." Luke's eyes dropped to the baby, now sniffling, her fingers clutched in Maya's sweater, his hands curled at his sides. "Put her down," he said to Maya evenly, slowly. Maya moved to the crib and lowered Emily gently onto the mattress. The baby whimpered but didn't scream again. Maya lingered a moment longer, brushing a hand over the child's back. before turning to face Luke. "I would never harm her," she said quietly. "Not ever. She made me feel like a stranger in my own house," Evelyn murmured, stepping closer to her husband, slipping her arm through his, like I wasn't good enough. Luke didn't respond. His eyes, still fixed on Maya, were unreadable. "I'll clean up the glass," Maya said, nodding toward the broken vase. Luke's jaw flexed. "Leave it. Someone else will handle it." Then he turned, guiding Evelyn out of the room, his hand resting lightly on her lower back. Maya stood still, frozen in place, her heart hammering. She felt the shift, the cold distance, the weight of being doubted. When the door closed behind them, she let out a slow breath. She looked down at her belly, where the child she carried moved with a faint flutter. "Don't worry," she whispered. "I'll protect you, even if no one protects me." She crouched slowly, picking up the largest shards of crystal, careful not to let them cut her skin. Her reflection warped in the broken pieces, fragmented, misunderstood, but still here, still standing. Somewhere deep inside, a seed hardened. She wouldn't run. Not from Evelyn, not from misunderstanding, not from the life growing inside her, not even from the man who had just, if only for a moment, believed someone else's lie. Because Maya Williams had survived worse, and she wasn't going anywhere. If Maya's strength moved you, like this video, and comment where you're watching from someone nearby might be watching too. The day Maya Williams walked into the Whitmore estate for the first time, it had been raining. Not a gentle spring drizzle, but a relentless downpour that blurred windshields and soaked her shoes through in the 5 seconds it took to dart from the bus stop to the front gate. Her coat clung to her like a second skin, and her umbrella, cheap, dollar store plastic, had flipped inside out 3 blocks back. She hadn't tossed it away. She'd clutched it stubbornly all the way to the towering iron gates of the estate, because something about holding on felt necessary. The Whitmore mansion loomed above her, a sea of white stone and glass, flanked by tall hedges and security cameras. Maya had stood there, dripping, the weight of her soaked resume folder in her hand, and reminded herself why she was doing this. Because the hospital let her go. Because the father of her unborn child had vanished without a trace. Because her bank account showed $212.47, and next month's rent cost $1,500. Because surviving meant humbling yourself, sometimes down to your knees. The gate buzzed open after a long pause. She was met at the front door by a silver-haired woman in a pressed uniform and an air of unshakable authority. "Miss Williams?" the woman asked, voice clipped but not unkind. "Yes, ma'am. I'm Mrs. Hayes, head of household staff. Come in, but take your shoes off, please. The floors are imported marble." Maya peeled off her shoes, trying not to leave puddles, and stepped into a house that smelled like lavender and money. Everything gleamed. Everything whispered, "You don't belong here." They sat in a small study near the rear of the estate, cool, dimly lit, with a clock that ticked too loudly and a bookshelf full of first editions that Maya doubted anyone ever read. Mrs. Hayes flipped through the damp resume with an arched brow. "Nursing assistant," she said. 3 years at St. Joseph's Medical?" "Yes, ma'am." "And laid off. Due to?" "Budget cuts. I was in post-op, then pediatrics." "You've worked with children?" "Newborns. NICU support team. I've also cared for Alzheimer's patients in private homes." Mrs. Hayes nodded, expression unreadable. "This is a live-in position. You'd be caring for Emily Whitmore, 1 year old. Her mother is often traveling. The father, Mr. Whitmore, has business that keeps him out of the house most days." Maya kept her tone neutral. "I understand. There are cameras in every common area," Mrs. Hayes continued. "Discretion is expected. Gossip is not tolerated. You will be given a suite on the 3rd floor, meals provided, and your responsibilities will include feeding, bathing, and night care for the child." Maya nodded. "I can do that. Can you lift 30 pounds while pregnant?" Maja hesitated. Mrs. Hayes looked up, her eyes narrowing. "How far along?" 14 weeks, Maya admitted. But I'm strong, and I'm careful. I won't let it interfere with my work. Mrs. Hayes studied her for a long moment, then set the resume aside. You understand the risk you're taking? Maya straightened. With respect, ma'am, I don't have the luxury of safety right now. Something flickered across the older woman's face, something Maya couldn't name. Not sympathy, exactly. Recognition, maybe. A memory. I worked for this family for 32 years, Mrs. Hayes said at last. I've seen girls come and go, some leaving richer, some leaving ruined. Mr. Whitmore is not a cruel man, but he's particular. Maya's voice was soft. I'm not here to charm anyone. I just need to work. I need to provide. Mrs. Hayes nodded slowly. Come. I'll show you the nursery. They walked through long hallways lined with family portraits painted, not photographed. Luke Whitmore appeared in all of them, aging from sharp-jawed 20-something to the powerful 40-something man he was now. Evelyn appeared in some. Her smile never touched her eyes. The nursery was on the east wing, sunlit and warm, with pale yellow walls and a rocking chair that looked hand-carved. Emily was sleeping in a crib shaped like a storybook carriage. She doesn't sleep well at night, Mrs. Hayes said. Colic, reflux, doesn't like loud noises. Her mother rarely holds her. Mr. Whitmore, well, he tries. Maya approached the crib slowly, her heart tugging at the sight of the sleeping child. The baby's tiny hand was curled in a fist against her cheek. She's beautiful, Maya whispered. Mrs. Hayes didn't respond, just watched her closely. That night, after a simple meal eaten alone in the staff dining room, Maya unpacked her single duffel bag in a room that felt too clean, too untouched. The linen smelled like starch, and the window looked out over a garden she didn't dare dream of entering. She lay in bed that night with one hand on her belly, her thoughts circling like crows. Could she do this? Be invisible, be perfect, be useful enough not to get thrown out. She didn't want a mansion. She didn't want wealth. She wanted safety. She wanted her child to be born with more than she had. She wanted peace. And so she whispered to the darkness, to the life growing inside her. I'll make this work, no matter what. A knock on her door startled her. She opened it to find Mrs. Hayes standing there with a small bottle in hand. Prenatal vitamins, she said, as if it were nothing. Maya blinked. I didn't. I know. The woman handed it to her. They arrived in the mail this afternoon, already added to the staff pharmacy. Maya looked down at the bottle, then back up. Mrs. Hayes's gaze was level. Mr. Whitmore is many things, Miss Williams, but he's not indifferent. And with that, the older woman turned and walked away. Maya stood in the doorway, fingers tightening around the bottle, heart suddenly unsure whether to feel fear or hope. Maya didn't sleep that night. She tried God. She tried, but her thoughts refused to rest. They churned beneath her skin like restless waves. The crying child, the vase exploding at her feet, Evelyn's false accusation, and worst of all, Luke's silence. That had cut deeper than Evelyn's words ever could. She kept seeing his face stoic, controlled, unreadable, and the single question he'd asked, "Is that true?" He had looked at her like he didn't know her, like she could be capable of what Evelyn claimed. The dawn filtered in slowly, painting the nursery hall in shades of faded gold. Maya rose early, dressed in soft sneakers and a blue button-down over her belly, and made her way to the kitchen. She wasn't scheduled for shift until 8, but sleep wasn't coming, and she needed motion to fight the weight pressing on her chest. Mrs. Hayes was already there, sipping black coffee at the long marble island. "Morning," the older woman said without looking up. Her voice, as always, was measured, efficient. But there was a warmth beneath the crispness today. A flicker of something gentler. "Morning," Maya murmured, heading to the coffee pot. She moved quietly, poured herself half a cup, any more would make the nausea worse, and leaned against the counter. Mrs. Hayes glanced at her. "You're early." "I couldn't sleep." A pause. No surprise there. Maya studied the swirling steam rising from her mug. Do you think he believed her? Mrs. Hayes didn't pretend not to understand. She folded her hands on the counter, rings glinting faintly. Mr. Whitmore doesn't trust easily. When he does, he trusts completely. But he's cautious with perception, especially where Evelyn's concerned. Maya gave a short laugh, more air than humor. So, yes, Mrs. Hayes sighed. I've seen that man go toe-to-toe with billion-dollar boardrooms and win. But when it comes to his private life, she shook her head. Let's just say he's used to being lied to, used to pretending he's not. Maya nodded slowly. He didn't defend me. No, Mrs. Hayes agreed. But he didn't condemn you either. Felt like he did. There was another pause. Then, softer, you scared him. Maya's brow furrowed. I scared him? You walked into his life and held his daughter like she was yours. You didn't flinch when his wife came at you. You're calm when others shout, and you stand your ground when most would run. That kind of steadiness, it unsettles people who live in chaos. Maya didn't know what to say to that. Instead, she sipped her coffee. Finish your breakfast, Mrs. Hayes added, and go check on Emily. She didn't eat much last night. I think she's waiting for you. Maya looked up. Even after all that? The older woman offered the barest smile. Children know who loves them. The nursery was still dim when Maya entered an hour later. The blackout curtains hadn't been drawn back yet, but soft morning light peeked through the edges. Emily sat up in her crib, blinking sleepily. Her curls were matted on one side. Her cheeks flushed. When she saw Maya, her little arms lifted instinctively. Hi there, sweet pea, Maya whispered, walking over. Rough night? Emily whined softly in response and clung to Maya's shoulder the moment she was lifted. Her small hands fisted in Maya's shirt, and the little girl tucked her head into the crook of her neck. I've got you, Maya murmured. Always. She changed the toddler's diaper, dressed her in a soft yellow onesie, and sat with her on the rocking chair, feeding her small spoonfuls of mashed banana mixed with oatmeal. Emily ate slowly, but her big brown eyes never left Maya's face. Trust, unspoken, but alive. And it broke Maya's heart all over again. I don't care what her DNA says, she whispered. You're worth more than this place. She barely heard the footsteps until they were outside the nursery door. Her heart jumped. Then the knock came 3 firm taps. She stood, heart pounding. Come in. Luke entered. He wasn't in a suit this time. Just a charcoal gray sweater over dark slacks. No tie. His hair was still damp from the shower. For a man known for power, there was something almost quiet about him this morning. Miss Williams, he said, voice even. Mr. Whitmore. His eyes moved from her to Emily, then back. Can I speak with you? Maya hesitated, then nodded. She turned to Mrs. Chen, who had just stepped into the room behind Luke. Could you? The woman gave a silent nod and stepped forward to take Emily. Maya followed Luke down the hall, nerves high and pulsing. He didn't speak as they descended the stairs and crossed the marble foyer. Instead of heading to the study or his office, he led her to the sunroom, a rarely used space filled with potted orchids, 2 armchairs, and a view of the back gardens. He gestured for her to sit. Maya did, spine straight, hands folded in her lap. Luke remained standing, looking out over the yard for a long moment before turning to her. I owe you an apology. Maya blinked. Of all the things she expected, that wasn't one of them. I let Evelyn speak first, he said, and in doing so, I doubted someone who has never given me a single reason to question her integrity. She opened her mouth, closed it, then, quietly, why? Because I've been lied to so many times, he said simply. Because trusting people has cost me everything before. And because Evelyn's chaos is familiar, and that familiarity made me blind. He took a breath. I watched the security footage last night. From the nursery cameras. It confirmed everything you said. Maya's breath caught. Then you know that she pushed you, that you were calming Emily, that you said nothing disrespectful. He met her gaze. I'm sorry I didn't give you the benefit of the doubt. A long pause. Maya nodded slowly, her throat tight. Thank you for telling me. You didn't deserve what happened. Neither did my daughter. There it was. My daughter. The reminder made her chest ache. Luke sat across from her, elbows on his knees. You're good with her. Better than Evelyn's ever been. And that's part of the problem. Maya raised an eyebrow. She sees it, the bond, and she hates it. Not because it's wrong, but because she couldn't create it herself. They sat in silence for a while, sunlight warming the space between them. Then Luke asked softly, Do you plan to stay? Maya looked him dead in the eye. Yes, as long as I'm allowed. He nodded, just once. Then I'll make sure you're safe. And this time, Maya believed him. The moment Maya stepped out of the sunroom, something had changed. Not in the air, not in the halls of the mansion, which still gleamed with silent, polished perfection. But inside her, something had shifted. It wasn't confidence, exactly. It was deeper than that. A subtle straightening of her spine, a resolve rooted in something stronger than pride, truth. Luke Whitmore had apologized. He had seen her, believed her, and even if that didn't erase what had happened, it mattered more than she wanted to admit. Back in the nursery, Emily lit up the second Maya entered. She reached out, little hands fluttering excitedly. Mrs. Chen smiled softly as she handed the baby over. She's been waiting, she said. Then, with a glance, added, He watched you walk away from the sunroom. From the second floor. Maya blinked. Mrs. Chen gave her a look. He did. The day passed in quiet rhythm. Maya fed Emily, took her out for a walk in the garden wrapped in a soft cotton shawl, and even read to her from an old copy of Goodnight Moon found in the corner bookshelf of the nursery. Emily dozed off mid-sentence, her tiny fingers tangled in Maya's sweater sleeve. As the baby slept, Maya sat by the crib, sipping lukewarm chamomile tea and resting her hand on her growing belly. Her second trimester was easier than the first, less nausea, more hunger, but the weight in her back was constant. Still, for the first time in weeks, she wasn't counting hours, dollars, or threats. She was simply present. Until the door creaked open, Luke again. But this time, there was no suit, no agenda, just a quiet knock against the frame and a look in his eyes that Maya couldn't quite decipher. I didn't want to interrupt, he said. You didn't, Maya replied, keeping her voice low so Emily wouldn't stir. Luke stepped inside, glancing at the child, then at the book on Maya's lap. She's never fallen asleep for anyone else after a story, not even me. Maya gave a small smile. She just needed routine. And patience, he said softly. She nodded once, then looked up at him. Did you need something? Luke hesitated. Dinner. With me. In the family dining room, Maya blinked. Dinner? You eat alone most nights in the staff wing. I don't mind. I do. His voice was gentle but firm. I'd like to share a meal. Not as employer and employee, just as two people who care about the same child. That last part did something to her chest. She looked down at Emily, then back at him. All right. The dining room was a space Maya had only passed by in silence. High ceilings, a crystal chandelier that could rival a hotel ballroom, and a long cherrywood table that could seat 20. Tonight, though, it was just set for two. The lights were dimmed, soft jazz played from somewhere overhead. Maya stood in the doorway, feeling underdressed in her navy cotton dress and flats, one hand resting protectively on her belly. Luke, seated at the head, rose when he saw her. You look comfortable, he said, not unkindly. I was going for clean, she replied. With a small, nervous laugh, he smiled. You managed both. A housekeeper named Elena, someone Maya had seen but never spoken to. Serve them grilled salmon with lemon dill sauce, roasted baby carrots, and garlic mashed potatoes. There was sparkling water for Maya, and a glass of red wine untouched at Luke's side. For the first few minutes, they ate in silence. Then Luke asked, "What was your dream?" Maya looked up, startled. "My dream? Before this, before the hospital job, before all of it." She chewed slowly, thoughtfully. "I wanted to open a wellness center in my neighborhood. A safe space for women, especially mothers. Somewhere they could come without judgment. Get advice, checkups, support." He nodded. "That still sounds like something worth doing." She laughed quietly. "I don't even have $100 in my savings account. You have something better." "What's that?" "Experience, compassion, and a fire most people lost before they turned 20. Maya blinked. That was more than she expected. She picked up her water, trying to steady herself. "What about you? What did you want before?" "Billionaire life." Luke paused. For the first time, his face looked younger, almost tired. "I wanted to be invisible." She frowned. "Why?" "Because when you're born into money, expectations are carved into your skin before you take your first breath. My father was a builder. My grandfather laid the foundations of half this state. I was the crown prince, so to speak. And you didn't want that?" "I didn't know if I did. By the time I figured it out, the machine was already moving. I never got off." Maya looked at him, really looked. The weight on his shoulders wasn't imagined. It had been there all along. She just hadn't seen it until now. "You could still step away," she said. He chuckled. "And do what? Open a bakery in Vermont?" "Why not?" His eyes twinkled, just slightly. "You're the first person in 10 years to suggest I do something just because I want to." They both fell quiet again, but this time, it wasn't awkward. It was full. A different kind of full. After dinner, Luke walked her to the hallway near the staff wing. Before she reached the corner, he stopped. "Maya," she turned. "I know this situation is complicated, but I hope you know, I see what you're doing. With Emily. With Grace." She swallowed. "Thank you. And if Evelyn ever crosses that line again, you come to me. Immediately." His voice held steel. Maya nodded. "I will. Good night." "Good night, Mr. Whitmore." He hesitated. "Luke. When we're alone, you can call me Luke." Her breath caught. "All right, Luke." He watched her a moment longer, then turned and walked away. His footsteps soft against the polished wood. Back in her room, Maya lay on her bed, heart still fluttering like a moth. She rested one hand over her belly and whispered into the quiet, "We might actually be okay." And for the first time in a long time, she believed it. The following morning came with golden light and a sense of calm Maya hadn't known in months. For the first time since setting foot in the Whitmore estate, she didn't feel like an outsider walking on glass. Instead, there was something else in the air. Unspoken, tentative, but real. Still, Maya knew better than to mistake quiet for safety. She dressed quickly in her usual soft cotton tunic and leggings, pulling her hair back into a neat low bun. The baby inside her was especially active that morning, tiny kicks pressing beneath her ribs. She paused, placing both hands on her belly with a small smile. "You liked last night, didn't you?" she whispered. You could feel it too, that something shifted. But peace was rarely allowed to linger long in a house that beautiful and broken. Downstairs in the laundry room, she found the air already buzzing with tension. Not between the walls, but in the voices of the other staff. Maya rarely lingered with them, mostly out of respect, partly out of caution, but today, their whispers rose sharp and fast the moment she stepped in. Saw her coming out of the family dining room, with Mr. Whitmore, alone, at night. She's pregnant, for God's sake. The moment they saw her, the voices stopped, too quickly. Maya didn't say anything. She moved past them, grabbed Emily's clean linens, and left. but the sting remained, clinging to her skin like wet clothes. Back upstairs, she found Emily wide awake, humming softly to herself. The toddler had found a new game, pulling off her socks and flinging them through the crib rails. One had landed on a stuffed giraffe's head like a hat. Maya laughed gently. "You're a menace," she said, scooping her up. Emily giggled. Maya held her close, breathing in her warmth, her innocence. The nursery smelled like baby powder and books. Here, in this little room, the world didn't feel so cruel, but even Emily's sweetness couldn't block out the weight of what Maya had overheard. That night at dinner had been simple, respectful. It had meant something to Maya, but clearly it had meant something else to the staff. She should have expected that. In a house like this, perception was everything, and people saw only what they wanted to see. A pregnant maid dining alone with the billionaire? They didn't know about the pain, the lies, the child she was protecting, the loneliness. They didn't see the woman who had once worked nights at the hospital while taking classes during the day, who had stitched her life together with threadbare hope. They only saw what Evelyn wanted them to see. Just the help. Just the help. Later that morning, while Emily napped, Maya found herself called to Mrs. Hayes' office. The room was austere. Filing cabinets, a clean desk, a portrait of the Whitmore estate in winter. The housekeeper looked up as Maya entered, then gestured for her to close the door. "I'm not going to dance around this," she began. "Rumors are spreading." Maya sat quietly. "You had dinner with Mr. Whitmore, in the family room. No witnesses, no explanation." Maya kept her voice even. "He invited me, after what happened with Evelyn." "I know." That surprised Maya. Mrs. Hayes continued. "He told me himself, said it was a gesture of apology, said he hoped it wouldn't be misinterpreted." It was. Yes." The older woman leaned back in her chair. "This house runs on secrets and whispers, Maya. The walls don't echo, but the mouths do." Maya clenched her jaw. "I've done nothing wrong." "I know that too," Mrs. Hayes replied. "But others may not care. Perception, my dear, is currency. And Evelyn? She knows how to spend it." That name landed like a dropped plate between them. Mrs. Hayes folded her hands. "She's been watching you, closer than before, and after what happened in the nursery, she'll be looking for any reason to discredit you." Maya nodded. "I understand." "I don't think you do." The older woman's voice softened. "You're not just caring for a child anymore. You're walking a very thin line. And the more Mr. Whitmore notices you, the more dangerous it becomes." There it was. Maya looked down at her lap. "So what should I do? Avoid him?" "You do your job," Mrs. Hayes said simply. "You protect that baby. You keep your head down, and you let him come to his own conclusions. That's the only power you've got." Maya stood, her heart heavy. "Thank you for telling me." Mrs. Hayes nodded. "You're one of the strongest I've seen come through here. Don't let them break you." That afternoon, Evelyn made her entrance like a queen returning from exile. A designer dress clung to her like second skin. Her heels clicked in perfect rhythm across the marble floors, and her red lipstick screamed, "Look at me." Maya was in the parlor helping Emily stack colored blocks when Evelyn passed by. She didn't stop, didn't acknowledge either of them, but Maya felt it the icy wind in her wake. It wasn't long before Mrs. Chen passed Maya a note folded into a tight square. In careful handwriting, it read, "Meeting in the Blue Salon, 4 p.m. Mr. Whitmore, Mrs. Whitmore, and yourself." Maya looked up sharply. "What is this?" Chen simply shrugged. She asked for it. Ugh. By the time Maya entered the Blue Salon, her stomach was tight with nerves. She'd made herself as neat as possible, no makeup, but clean lines, pressed blouse, and steady breath. Luke stood by the window, hands in his pockets. Evelyn sat like a statue on the velvet settee, one leg crossed over the other. "You wanted to see me?" Maya said calmly. Evelyn didn't look up. We wanted to establish boundaries. Luke said nothing. Maya raised an eyebrow. Boundaries? Evelyn stood, pacing slowly. You're a staff member, not family, not a friend. Your job is to care for my daughter, not dine with my husband. Luke flinched at that, just slightly. I was invited, Maya said, and now I'm uninviting you. Evelyn replied with a smile as sharp as a knife. No more private meals. No more unsupervised walks. You report to the head nanny, and she reports to me. Is that understood? Maya looked at Luke. He finally spoke. Evelyn, that's enough. No, it's not. She faced him. You brought her into this house. I tolerated it, but I will not be made a fool of by some pregnant housekeeper trying to play wife. Maya stood still, heart thudding. Luke's voice dropped low. She is not the one making a fool of anyone. Evelyn laughed bitterly. Of course not. She just holds our daughter like she was born for it. Smiles at you like she knows your soul. It's pathetic. That word, pathetic. Maya didn't flinch, didn't run. She only said, with all due respect, Mrs. Whitmore, maybe what your daughter needs isn't who you pretend to be. Maybe she just needs love. Evelyn's mouth twitched. Luke looked at Maya, and there was something new in his eyes now, not pity, not curiosity, recognition. Maya left the blue salon with her jaw clenched so tight her teeth ached. Her palms were damp, her back tense, and the pressure in her chest threatened to burst with every step. She didn't look back, not at Evelyn, not at Luke. She couldn't afford to. Dignity sometimes meant walking away before the words reached your lips. Outside, the hallway stretched cold and quiet. The Whitmore mansion, with all its grandeur and glass, suddenly felt like a cage made of velvet. She reached the nursery in time to find Emily just waking from her nap. The toddler stirred in her crib, blinking up with groggy eyes and a wrinkled nose. As soon as she saw Maya, her lips curved into a sleepy smile. Hey, my sweet girl, Maya whispered, crouching beside her. Emily reached for her without hesitation. Maya lifted her gently and pressed a kiss to her forehead. Her baby scent lavender lotion and warm milk wrapped around Maya like armor. In that moment, she knew, no matter what Evelyn tried, no matter how poisoned the air in that house became, she would not abandon this child. Even if it meant staying in the crosshairs, even if it meant being misunderstood, even if it broke her heart. Later that evening, while Maya bathed Emily and folded the girls' laundry into neat pastel piles, Mrs. Hayes stepped into the nursery with the subtle grace only a lifelong servant could master. Word is you held your own in the salon, she said without preamble. I didn't shout if that's what you mean. Better, you stayed standing. Maya shrugged, her back to her. Not sure that'll count for much once Evelyn starts twisting it. She already has. Maya turned, startled. Mrs. Hayes held a phone in her hand. Staff chat's already humming. She said you disrespected her, claimed you challenged her authority in front of her husband. I didn't. I know. She slipped the phone back into her apron pocket. But perception, remember? It doesn't matter what happened. It matters what sticks. Maya swallowed hard. What are they saying? Some think you're ambitious. Some think you're reckless. A few think you're brave. Her eyes softened. And I think you're walking a tightrope with a baby strapped to your chest and no safety net below. Maya sat on the edge of the rocking chair. What do I do? Mrs. Hayes didn't answer right away. Then, you stay the course. You keep doing right by that child. And you make sure your steps are so steady, so deliberate, that not even Evelyn's games can shake you. Maya nodded. It wasn't comfort, exactly. But it was clarity. The next morning, the atmosphere at breakfast was unusually stiff. Maya entered the kitchen just as the rest of the staff were finishing their coffee and bagels. Conversations died the moment she stepped in. Eyes flicked up, down, then away. She grabbed a plate without a word, poured herself some oatmeal, and sat at the far end of the table. No one joined her. Mrs. Chen gave her a sad smile from across the room. But she didn't move either. It wasn't malice. It was survival. In the Whitmore house, loyalty was currency, and Evelyn had been spending hers aggressively. Still, Maya didn't waver. She finished her breakfast, returned her dishes, and headed upstairs. By mid-morning, the estate was buzzing with preparations for an upcoming charity event, one of Evelyn's many public spectacles designed to position her as the philanthropic face of the Whitmore legacy. A garden luncheon for socialites, donors, and journalists. And, of course, Emily would be paraded out like a doll in a porcelain dress. Maya had dressed the toddler carefully, choosing a soft blue outfit with lace trim. She didn't like the way Evelyn insisted on bows too tight, shoes too stiff. Emily always fussed more in those clothes. But Maya did her best to keep the girl comfortable. As they reached the sunroom where the photographers had gathered, Evelyn turned, already dressed in couture, diamonds at her ears. "Put her down," she told Maya. "You're in the frame." Maya obeyed, setting Emily in the playpen nearby. A photographer raised his camera. Evelyn leaned down, flashing a wide smile. "Say cheese, darling." Emily didn't respond. Her lower lip quivered. Her eyes darted around, searching. "Smile," Evelyn hissed, her tone low and urgent. Emily whimpered. Maya took one step forward. "She's scared," she said calmly. "She's fine," Evelyn snapped. Then louder, "Let's try again." The camera clicked, but Emily's face was twisted in confusion, and a second later, her cry cut through the room. Maya moved without thinking. She scooped Emily up, holding her against her chest. The girl clung to her, sobbing. Evelyn turned, face livid. "What are you doing?" "She's frightened," Maya said again, gentler. "She doesn't understand what's happening." The room was still, everyone watching, waiting. Luke stepped in then. He'd been in the hallway, unseen, but now his presence filled the space. He took one look at Emily, then at Evelyn. "That's enough," he said. "Luke, she's a baby, Evelyn, not a prop." The photographers hesitated. Luke turned to them. "That'll be all for now. We'll send a press release." They began to pack up. Maya rocked Emily gently, heart racing. Evelyn's face was unreadable stone behind a mask, but Maya felt the shift. The tide had turned. That night, long after the guests had left and the house fell quiet, Maya stood alone in the kitchen. The lights were low. Her feet ached. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but adrenaline. Luke entered, tie undone, sleeves rolled up. "You handled today well," he said. "I just did what was right." He walked to the counter, grabbed a bottle of water, and leaned against the island. "I watched the whole thing, the way you moved, protected her. Spoke up without raising your voice. She's just a child." He studied her. "You keep saying that like it's nothing, but it's everything." "No." Maya looked away. Luke stepped closer. "You're changing this house," he said. "And maybe you're changing me." Her breath caught, but he didn't say more, didn't touch her. Just gave her one last look and walked out of the room. And Maya stood there, torn between fear of what came next, and hope that maybe, just maybe, something better was already beginning. The days following the charity luncheon passed like the hush before a storm, quiet, uneasy, with eyes watching from every direction. Emily clung to Maya more than usual, her tiny fingers seeking comfort. Her cries sharper whenever Maya stepped even a few feet away. It didn't go unnoticed. Not by the staff, not by Evelyn, and certainly not by Luke. Still, Maya did her best to keep their days gentle. She took Emily on slow walks through the East Garden in the early mornings, where the roses bloomed thick and heavy, and the world still felt innocent. They sat beneath the maple tree by the pond, watching ducks paddle past. Sometimes Maya would hum softly, and Emily would press her head against Maya's chest, content just to listen to the rhythm of a heart that loved her. But peace, Maya had learned, was never permanent in this house. especially not when Evelyn was losing control. On Wednesday morning, Maya stepped into the nursery to find that the furniture had been rearranged. The crib was now on the opposite side of the room, the glider gone entirely. A new bookshelf had appeared, sleek, modern, cold. The photos Maya had carefully placed on the dresser of Emily's smiling moments were missing. What the? She turned to find Evelyn in the doorway, arms folded across her tailored blazer, her smile tight. "Redecorating," Evelyn said. "It was time." Maya's stomach twisted. "Where's the glider?" "Storage. It didn't match the aesthetic. Besides, she's too old for rocking now." Maya kept her voice even. "She still needs soothing. She needs structure. And boundaries." Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "You've made her clingy." "She's one," Maya said simply. "She's my daughter." That struck like a slap. Maya took a step closer, lowering her voice. "Then maybe hold her once in a while." Evelyn's smile vanished. "You forget your place." No," Maya said. "I remember it every day, especially when I'm cleaning up the messes you pretend don't exist." Evelyn didn't move, but the air between them turned electric. Her voice dropped, venomous. "You think because he apologized to you that you're safe now? That you matter?" "I don't care what you think of me," Maya replied, "but I will not let you hurt that little girl just to make a point." The hallway behind them creaked. "Luke." He stood at the corner, his expression unreadable. Maya turned away, heart pounding, and scooped Emily up from her crib. "We're going for a walk." She brushed past both of them, her hand trembling where it cupped Emily's back. She could feel Luke's eyes on her as she went. That evening, Maya sat on the bench under the porch awning. Emily curled up in her lap with a bottle of warm milk, the sounds of distant thunder rolling in the sky. It hadn't started raining yet, but the clouds above looked ready to crack open at any moment. Mrs. Hayes stepped out with a shawl and placed it gently around Maya's shoulders. "She knows she's losing," the older woman said, settling beside her. "Then why is she fighting harder?" "Because she has nothing else left. No love, no legacy, just image." Maya sighed. "She changed the nursery, said I was making Emily clingy. She's scared," Mrs. Hayes replied. "And women like Evelyn don't do fear well. They turn it into cruelty." Maya looked down at the baby in her arms. "How much longer can I protect her from that?" "As long as you breathe," Mrs. Hayes said. "But you won't be able to do it from the shadows forever." "What do you mean?" "I mean you'll have to choose. One day. Soon. Between surviving quietly or standing loudly. For her. For yourself. For your baby." Maya said nothing. The rain finally started slow, deliberate drops tapping against the porch railing, and somewhere deep inside her, a line was being drawn. Later that night, Maya stood by her bedroom window, watching the storm roll over the estate. Lightning lit the garden in brief flashes, turning hedges into monsters and statues into sentinels. She didn't hear the knock at first. It was soft, tentative. When she opened the door, Luke stood there barefoot, hair tousled, the collar of his shirt unbuttoned. "I shouldn't be here," he said. "But you are." He didn't smile. "I saw what she did today. The nursery, the way she looked at you." "May, I'm fine." "No, you're not." He stepped closer. "And I'm not either. This house used to be my sanctuary. Now, every room feels like a battlefield." Maya didn't answer. Luke looked past her into the room, then at her belly. "I can't keep pretending this is normal. That what she's doing to you, to Emily, is acceptable." "Then don't," Maya said softly. "You're the one with the power to stop it." And he looked at her, really looked. And in that moment something passed between them, silent but irrevocable. "I want to," he whispered. "But if I do, I'll lose everything I've built." "And if you don't," Maya said, "you'll lose her." Emily, the daughter who only smiled for Maya, who never reached for Evelyn, who needed more than silk dresses and perfect lighting. Luke nodded once. You're right. He started to turn away, then hesitated. You make it hard to look away, Maya. Then stop trying. He didn't reply, but he didn't walk away either. For a long time, they stood there, the storm outside echoing the one building within. And when he finally left, Maya closed the door with shaking hands. It was all happening faster now. The morning light filtered through the tall windows like gold poured from heaven, but Maya knew better than to believe in such illusions. In the Whitmore house, sunlight could just as easily reveal a snare as it could light a path. She dressed Emily carefully that morning, soft pink leggings, a polka-dotted sweater, and the tiniest white sneakers Maya had ever seen. The child giggled as Maya kissed her chubby cheeks, her smile brighter than the new day deserved. But Maya's gut told her something was coming. She felt it in the way the halls seemed too quiet, the staff too careful in their movements, their greetings clipped. Even the air smelled different, like lavender oil masking something rotting beneath the surface. It wasn't until Mrs. Chen passed her in the hallway and pressed a folded paper into her hand that Maya realized why. Mandatory staff meeting. Library, 10 amperes. Attendance required. Maya frowned. This was rare. Staff meetings weren't usually called at random, especially not by Evelyn. She arrived at the library 5 minutes early, Emily on her hip, her expression neutral. The others were already there. Housekeepers, the grounds manager, kitchen staff, even Mrs. Hayes, who stood with her arms folded. Evelyn was front and center, lips painted red as blood, her dress tailored to intimidate. Luke was not present. Evelyn clapped her hands once, sharp and cold. Thank you all for coming. Emily fussed in Maya's arms. She bounced her gently. I want to address something that has been circulating through whispers, looks, and most disturbingly, impropriety. Maya didn't blink. I have always treated this estate as a place of professionalism and excellence, Evelyn continued. But recently, it seems some members of our staff have forgotten their boundaries, forgotten their purpose. Her eyes landed squarely on Maya. A murmur rippled through the room. Let me be perfectly clear, Evelyn said. No employee is permitted to engage in personal or intimate dinners with family members. No employee is allowed to make decisions for a child unless expressly approved, and no employee may use their position to gain sympathy or influence over this family. Maya felt Emily's tiny hands grip her collar tighter. She stroked the girl's back slowly. Any future violations of these guidelines will result in immediate dismissal, Evelyn concluded. That includes caretakers, housekeepers, and yes, even those with children on the way. The room fell deathly silent. Maya did not flinch. She simply looked Evelyn in the eye and said, Are we allowed to ask questions? Evelyn blinked. Excuse me? I just want to know if rules are being made for all staff, or just for me. There was a gasp somewhere behind her. Evelyn's lips twitched. You may consider that question. Beneath response. Maya nodded. Noted. She turned on her heel and walked out, her head high, Emily still clutching her like a lifeline. In the corridor, Maya leaned against the wall, pressing her cheek to the baby's head. Her heart was racing. Bold move. She looked up to see Mrs. Hayes walking toward her, arms crossed, the trace of a smile in her eyes. I don't feel bold. You looked it. She's setting me up. It's not just about perception anymore. It's about power. Mrs. Hayes nodded. And you threatened hers. Maya took a deep breath. She wants me to leave. She's trying to break me before I find the strength to leave on my own. Then don't give her that satisfaction. I won't. But even as she said it, Maya knew the weight of those words. Evelyn had moved her pawn. This was no longer just about a child or a misunderstanding. This was war. Later that day, Luke found her in the West Garden. Maya had taken Emily out to the koi pond to distract them both from the tension in the air. She was crouched beside the water, pointing out the orange and goldfish weaving through lily pads, when his shadow fell across her. I'm sorry, Maya didn't look up. You should have been there. I know. She humiliated me in front of the staff. She made rules just to trap me. Luke exhaled. She told me it was just a procedural update. She didn't tell me what she planned to say. I don't believe that. He didn't respond for a moment. Then, I understand if you're angry. Oh, I'm not angry, Maya said. I'm tired, and I'm pregnant, and I'm trying to love your daughter in a house that keeps trying to erase the fact that she's human. Luke moved closer, crouching beside her. Emily immediately leaned toward him, arms outstretched. He lifted her gently. She giggled, grabbing at his collar. I want to fix this, he said. Maya watched him, her eyes sharp. Then stop playing the middle. He looked up. What? You can't have it both ways, Luke. You can't protect me with one hand and protect Evelyn's ego with the other. At some point, you're going to have to choose. A breeze rustled the hydrangeas behind them. He said nothing, and that, more than anything, told Maya he wasn't ready yet. That night, back in her room, Maya pulled out the small journal she kept hidden behind a loose panel in the wardrobe. It wasn't much, just a few pages of scribbled notes, memories, hopes. But tonight, she added something new. Day 89, she tried to break me in front of them, but I'm still here, still standing, still hers. She closed the book, pressed it to her chest, and whispered, We're not done. Not yet. Not even close. The betrayal came quietly, like most dangerous things do. It began with a missing pacifier. Then a bottle of formula gone sour when Maya was certain she had prepped it just hours before. Emily, normally content and warm in her blankets, woke up chilled one morning. Her covers folded too far from her crib. Her room drafty and cold. Maya brushed the incidents off at first. Mistakes happen. Maybe she was tired, distracted. But the fourth time, when she discovered the ointment for Emily's rash had been swapped with a tube of foot cream from another cabinet, Maya knew it wasn't just fatigue. Someone was sabotaging her. She confronted Mrs. Hayes privately. It's deliberate, Maya said, voice low, and it's coming from someone on staff. The older woman sat across from her in the staff break room, the scent of oversteeped tea lingering between them. I believe you, Mrs. Hayes said. But accusing someone without proof could make things worse. I'm not looking to accuse. I'm looking to protect Emily. Mrs. Hayes nodded slowly. Have you noticed anything else? Someone acting different around you? Maya hesitated. Mrs. Chen's been colder, distant. She used to bring Emily snacks without being asked. Now she barely looks at us. That's not like her, Mrs. Hayes murmured. I think Evelyn got to her. Or someone did. Mrs. Hayes sighed, setting her tea down. You're being isolated. She's creating a circle around you, cutting off anyone who might defend you. I can handle being alone, Maya said, but not if it puts Emily at risk. Mrs. Hayes met her eyes. Then it's time we set a trap. They started simple. Maya left a decoy bottle in the nursery fridge, plain label, but sealed tightly with a thin strand of blue thread under the cap. Only someone tampering with it would disturb the thread. She waited. The next morning, the bottle was still there, but the thread was gone. Maya's chest tightened. She brought it to Mrs. Hayes. No fingerprints, Mrs. Hayes said after examining it. Wipe it clean. Maya closed her eyes. I need to confront her. You need to be careful. If Evelyn's gotten to her, then she's desperate, and desperate people make mistakes. Maya clenched her fists. They're already being made, on a child. Later that day, Maya found Mrs. Chen folding linens in the service hall. The older woman looked up, her face carefully neutral. Can we talk? Maya asked. Mrs. Chen nodded but didn't smile. They stepped into the laundry room, door half closed. I know what's happening, Maya began gently. You've been avoiding us, and Emily's routines have been off, changed. I don't know what you're talking about. Maya took a breath. You were kind to me. At first. Then Evelyn came back, and everything changed. Mrs. Chen's jaw tightened. I have a family, a mortgage. Do you think I can afford to be on the wrong side of that woman? I'm not asking you to choose me over your survival, Maya said quietly. I'm asking you not to hurt a baby, to save yourself. Silence. Then finally, Mrs. Chen looked up. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her voice hoarse. She said if I helped her make you look incompetent, you'd be out in a week. She wants me gone. She said you were trying to replace her, that you were. Manipulating Mr. Whitmore. Maya exhaled sharply. I'm not. I know. But she's terrifying, Maya. And powerful. She said she'd have my daughter's scholarship revoked. Maya blinked. Your daughter? She's at NYU. Evelyn sits on the board of donors. Mrs. Chen's voice cracked. I couldn't risk it. Maya stepped closer. Help me. Tell Luke what she's doing. I'll stand with you. She'll destroy me. She already is. For a long moment, Mrs. Chen didn't speak. Then she whispered, tomorrow morning, meet me in the conservatory. I'll bring proof. That night, Maya didn't sleep. She lay in bed, one hand on her belly, the other over her heart. Her mind played every word of that conversation like a broken record. Evelyn was willing to hurt the people closest to her just to maintain her image. And now, Maya had proof, or soon would. But danger lingered like a shadow. Mrs. Hayes checked on her before bed. Do you trust her? I think she's scared. But yes. Mrs. Hayes nodded slowly. Then watch your back. Evelyn won't go down easy. The next morning, Maya dressed Emily in soft green pajamas and left her sleeping with the monitor on. She made her way quietly to the conservatory. The sun was just rising, casting pale light through the glass panes. Dew clung to the orchids along the wall, but the room was empty. No Mrs. Chen. Maya waited 5 minutes, then 10. Nothing. She checked her phone. No message. The silence grew louder. Then footsteps. Fast. Mrs. Hayes rushed in, her face pale. She's gone. What? She left before sunrise, resigned by voicemail. No note, no contact. Maya's stomach dropped. She got scared. Or she was silenced. The weight of that possibility chilled the air around them. Maya looked at Mrs. Hayes, fire rising in her voice. Then we bring this to Luke, today. Mrs. Hayes nodded. Agreed. But be ready, this is the last card. Once it's played, there's no retreat. I don't want retreat, Maya said. I want justice. For Emily, for herself, and for every person Evelyn had crushed to keep her throne. Luke stared at the manila envelope on his desk as though it might detonate. Maya stood across from him in the library, hands steady despite the storm inside her. The envelope sat between them, sealed but heavy. Inside, screenshots of texts between Evelyn and Mrs. Chen, a staff schedule with Maya's hours altered, and a printed memo. Evelyn had drafted one that suggested Maya was to be placed on probation for reckless behavior and neglect. She made it all up, Maya said. Her voice was even, but there was steel beneath. She manipulated the staff, endangered your daughter, and you let her. Luke didn't defend himself right away. He opened the envelope slowly, pulling out each sheet and scanning them one by one. His brows tightened, his jaw clenched. She threatened Mrs. Chen's daughter's scholarship, Maya added. A teenager, Luke. That's how far she's willing to go to get rid of me. Luke's fingers paused on the last page. He looked up, his voice low. Why didn't you come to me sooner? Because you weren't ready to hear it. Ren. He didn't deny it. He leaned back in his chair, running a hand over his face. I wanted to believe things would balance out on their own, that Evelyn would cool off, that this wouldn't spiral. Maya shook her head. She's not cooling off. She's escalating. Every day you stay silent, she grows bolder. And now, Emily is paying the price. Luke looked over at the fireplace, the crackling logs the only warmth in the room. You said once you wanted to fix this, Maya said softly. Now's your chance. His eyes met hers. I'm not protecting her anymore. It wasn't until late afternoon that Luke called for Evelyn. They met in the drawing room, a space once used for portraits and piano recitals. Now, it felt like a courtroom. Maya stood to the side, holding Emily on her hip. Mrs. Hayes stood near the door witness, silent and grim. Evelyn entered in a storm gray silk dress, a martini already in hand. Her eyes narrowed when she saw the arrangement. "This feels dramatic," she said. "Are we staging something?" Luke didn't smile. "Sit." She cocked her head but obeyed, perching elegantly on the velvet settee like she owned the air in the room. Luke didn't waste time. "I know everything." Evelyn arched a brow. "Everything's a bit vague, darling. Care to specify?" He opened the folder, laying the evidence out on the coffee table like cards in a final hand. "You threatened Mrs. Chen. You manipulated schedules. You endangered Emily's care to make Maya look incompetent." Evelyn laughed softly. "Is that what she told you? The maid who somehow charmed her way into your conscience?" "She showed me proof." "She doctored it." "She didn't." Evelyn's expression didn't crack. "I was trying to protect our family." "You've been distracted, Luke. Blinded. You think this woman cares about Emily? She's positioning herself for a payout. She's clever, I'll give her that. She learned how to cry on cue." "Maid, Maya stepped forward then, her voice quiet but unshakable. "Don't speak about me like I'm not in the room." Evelyn turned her eyes on her, sharp as daggers. "You don't belong in this room." "She does," Luke said firmly. Silence. Then Evelyn's smile curled ugly, bitter. "There it is. The betrayal. I suppose this is where you tell me you're choosing her." "I'm choosing what's right." Evelyn rose, setting her glass down with a soft clink. "You've embarrassed yourself, Luke. This little performance, it's beneath you." "I've let it go on too long," he replied. "But it ends now." Evelyn adjusted her bracelet. "You'll regret this, when your board starts whispering, when the press gets wind that you're sleeping with the help." Luke's face didn't flinch. "You can leak whatever you want. Just remember, blackmail only works when the other person is afraid." Evelyn's mask slipped for half a second. Then she turned to Maya, eyes scanning her like rot through silk. "Congratulations. You've managed to weasel your way into a seat that doesn't belong to you. Let's see how long you stay there." Then she walked out, heels echoing like gunshots on marble. The silence that followed was thick. Luke closed the folder, set it aside, and looked at Maya. "I don't know what happens next," he admitted. "She's going to retaliate." Maya nodded. "I'm ready." He reached for Emily. The toddler squealed in delight, wrapping her arms around his neck. For a moment, the whole room exhaled. "Do you want to leave?" Luke asked. "You and the baby. I can set you up somewhere safe." Maya's answer came without hesitation. "No." He blinked. "I'm not running," she said. "She can move mountains, but I won't move an inch unless it's for Emily's good. And she still needs me." That doesn't stop just because Evelyn lost control. Luke nodded slowly. "Then we face it together." Mrs. Hayes cleared her throat gently. "You both should know there's going to be fallout. Staff who side with Evelyn, press who twist the story. She's not used to losing." "I'm not used to surviving," Maya said, her voice soft, "but I've gotten pretty good at it." That night, Maya tucked Emily into bed with extra care. The child sighed in her sleep, tiny fingers clutching the corner of her blanket. The room, now returned to its original warmth and color, glowed under soft lamplight. Maya sat in the glider Evelyn had tried to remove and placed a hand on her belly. Her baby kicked. She smiled through tired tears. "We're still here." And this time, they weren't alone. By Friday, the press had begun circling the estate like vultures sensing blood. The first headline appeared on a glossy tabloid site. "Billionaire's wife abandoned. New maid at center of Whitmore family scandal." By noon, 3 more articles followed, each one more invasive than the last. Some speculated about an affair, others about Maya's influence over the child. A few went so far as to publish blurry photos of Maya in the garden with Emily, implying impropriety cloaked in nanny uniforms. Luke paced in the sunroom, phone to his ear, speaking in clipped tones to the family's PR team. Maya sat across the room, holding Emily and scrolling through the headlines, her hands cold despite the heat outside. "Who gave them the photos?" she asked. "Evelyn," Luke replied without hesitation. "Or someone she paid. She's trying to force the narrative, make you the aggressor. And you the fool." He nodded grimly. "It won't work. I'll shut it down." Maya held Emily closer. "Damage is done, Luke. They don't care about truth. They care about scandal. And she's given them a perfect story. Rich man, pregnant maid, broken wife." Luke sat beside her, jaw tight. "You don't deserve this." "No," Maya said, "but I've survived worse than bad headlines." She looked down at Emily, who smiled up at her, oblivious to the storm building just outside her nursery walls. But she doesn't understand what's happening. And she shouldn't have to. By the end of the day, a camera crew from a local gossip network was parked just outside the estate gates. Mrs. Hayes had to reroute the grocery delivery through the back road, and the landscapers refused to come until the heat cooled off. It was Evelyn's game now, and she was playing dirty. Maya retreated to the garden with Emily that afternoon, needing space to think. The koi pond shimmered beneath the sun, the air thick with roses and tension. She thought about calling her cousin in Atlanta, thought about packing a bag, thought about what safety really meant. But she knew, deep down, running would only feed the story, make it real in the eyes of the world. She was still sitting there when Mrs. Hayes approached. "She's going to take this to the next level," the older woman said without ceremony. "Television, radio, women's rights groups. She'll paint herself the victim, cry about betrayal. You'll be labeled the snake. I don't want fame or revenge. I just want peace. You don't get peace when you challenge a queen. You get fire." Maya stared at the fish, her voice low, then let her burn. That evening, Luke called for a family meeting, not the kind with wine and laughter and soft piano in the background, but the kind where lines are drawn. He stood in the grand dining room, the long mahogany table between him and Evelyn, who had returned just hours earlier with perfect hair, oversized sunglasses, and a lawyer on her arm. "You're playing with fire, Luke," she said coolly, "dragging our dirty laundry into the press like some B-list celebrity breakup. I didn't start this war." "Mayor." "No," Evelyn replied, removing her glasses. "But you sure as hell poured gasoline on it." Luke glanced at the lawyer. "Leave us." The man hesitated, then exited quietly. Luke leaned forward. "You've made your point, Evelyn. Public shaming, press leaks, threats to staff. But you forget our daughter is watching. Someday, she'll grow up and see what you did." Evelyn's smile didn't falter. "She'll grow up knowing who loved her enough to protect her legacy. She'll grow up knowing who treated her like a person, not a product." That struck. Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "You want full custody?" "No, I want peace. For Emily. For the baby Maya's carrying. For this house." Evelyn's silence stretched. Luke continued, "If you care more about the narrative than your own child, I won't stop you. But know this, if you take this further, if you drag this family through the mud just to win, I'll expose everything." She scoffed. "You won't." "I will. The affair with the senator's aide, the offshore accounts, the manipulated donations, everything." Maya, standing just behind the double doors, heard every word. Her heart pounded. Luke wasn't bluffing. He was choosing, and he was choosing her. That night, the gates of the estate remained shut. The press didn't leave, but they quieted somehow, sensing that the story wasn't over, but the tone had changed. Maya tucked Emily into bed, brushing a kiss against her temple. The child murmured sleepily and turned toward the nightlight, safe for now. Downstairs, Luke poured 2 cups of tea and joined Maya on the porch. "I've spoken with the board," he said. "They're standing with me. Evelyn's hold is slipping. She won't stop." "No," Luke said, "but we will outlast her." Maya took the tea, warmth seeping into her palms. "You risked everything. I've built my life on the wrong pillars," he replied. "Maybe it's time to start over." She looked at him, quiet. The moon hung above the garden like a witness. And for the first time since walking into that house, Maya didn't feel like a maid with borrowed time. She felt like someone rewriting the rules. Evelyn Whitmore had always been a strategist. She knew how to make enemies trip over their own pride, how to wrap poison in pearls, and how to spin a story before the ink of truth even had a chance to dry. So when her name disappeared from the Charity Circuit newsletter, and when whispers began to circle her bridge club about a fall from grace, she did what wounded royalty always does. She struck back. It began with a single article in a national newspaper. "Billionaire's wife opens up. The betrayal that broke our family." The headline was clean, tasteful, but the article underneath was laced with veiled jabs and polished venom. Evelyn described the emotional abandonment she endured. The young woman with an agenda who crept into her home, her child's life, and her husband's heart. She painted herself as a mother discarded, a wife disrespected, a woman of class under attack. She never named Maya, but she didn't have to. Photos accompanied the piece. Maya pushing Emily in the garden, her belly softly rounded, Luke standing beside her with his hand on Emily's back. The public response was swift and brutal. Blogs exploded. Podcasts picked it up. Hashtags trended. Number protect wives. Number nanny scandal. Number maid to mistress. Within 48 hours, the estate's phone lines were flooded. Protesters gathered outside the gates, some holding signs that read "Gold Digger" or "Homewrecker." Mrs. Hayes doubled security. Luke took all business meetings remotely, and Maya stayed inside, shades drawn, heart aching. "I should have seen this coming," Maya whispered one evening, sitting at the edge of her bed, her voice barely audible. Emily was asleep, the monitor blinking quietly on the dresser. Mrs. Hayes stood in the doorway. "You did. You just hoped it wouldn't go this far." Maya shook her head. "She's not just trying to ruin me. She's trying to make sure my child never walks into this world without shame attached to her name." Mrs. Hayes stepped forward and sat beside her. "You're not the first woman she's tried to bury, but you may be the first she can't. I don't know how much more I can take. You've taken enough, but now, you fight. For who? For your child. For Emily. For every woman who's ever been called trash for loving in the wrong zip code." Maya looked at the older woman, her eyes stinging. "What does fighting even look like now?" Mrs. Hayes reached into her cardigan and handed Maya a small envelope. "What's this?" "A letter from Evelyn. She sent it to me when you first started showing. Told me to give it to the board of trustees at the school where Emily was registered. Said she didn't want illegitimate influence spoiling the reputation of her daughter's future." Maya stared at the letter. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it. The words were sharp, cruel, and unmistakably Evelyn. "She was planning this before the scandal even hit," Maya said, voice hollow. Mrs. Hayes nodded. "But now you have it. In her handwriting." "No." Maya looked down at her stomach. Her baby kicked soft but firm. Present. Alive. "I need to speak," she whispered, publicly. Mrs. Hayes smiled faintly. "Then speak. And don't whisper." Luke hesitated at first. The idea of Maya stepping into the fire didn't sit well with him. "She'll twist whatever you say," he warned. "She has the media in her pocket." "She had it," Maya corrected. "But people are starting to question. They see the cracks." "Maritain, and what if you make it worse? I live in this house. I'm raising your daughter. Our baby will be born into a story already written if I stay silent." Luke sat back. "You want a platform? I want the truth." So he made one call, then another. By the next evening, Maya sat across from a well-known journalist in the Whitmore Library, cameras rolling, lights soft but firm, the air thick with expectation. The journalist, a respected black woman in her 50s named Celeste Grant, leaned in gently. "Maya, why are you choosing to speak now?" Maya took a breath. "Because silence is a luxury I can't afford anymore. Because my name was never meant to be part of this narrative, but it was dragged in without consent. Because I'm tired of watching a baby girl grow up in a house where the truth hides behind lace curtains." Celeste nodded. "You've been accused of breaking up a family." I walked into a family already broken," Maya said calmly. "I showed up for a child who was crying herself to sleep. I stayed when others left. And yes, I fell in love. Not because of money, not because of power, but because sometimes two people find each other in the wreckage." Celeste's voice lowered. "And the child you're carrying? She's mine, and she will know no shame." The interview aired 2 nights later. It went viral within hours. Hashtags changed. "Maya speaks. Truth in the nursery. Women deserve better." Support poured in from other caretakers, mothers, even former staff who had worked under Evelyn. One wrote an open letter detailing her own experience with Evelyn's manipulations. The tide had turned, and for the first time, Evelyn went quiet. That night, as rain whispered against the windows, Maya stood in the nursery. Emily slept soundly, unaware that her story had reached millions. Luke stepped in quietly behind her, resting a hand on her shoulder. "You were brilliant," he said. "I was honest. That's what made it brilliant." Maya turned to face him. "She's not done, but she's weaker. And you're stronger." They stood there for a long moment, the baby monitor humming, the house unusually still. Then Luke whispered, "I want you to stay. Not as a guest. Not as staff." Maya's breath caught. "But as what?" she asked. "As family." The spring rolled into the estate with bursts of magnolia and jasmine, cloaking the Whitmore property in a deceptive sense of peace. The air smelled of blooming hope, and yet beneath the floral facade, tension curled like a snake beneath warm stone. The public had shifted. Maya was no longer a target, but a symbol. She received letters from women across the country, nannies, single mothers, even former social workers, each one thanking her for speaking up, for refusing to shrink under pressure. Some sent gifts. One even mailed a quilt, hand-stitched with the names of women who had raised children not their own. But with recognition came new scrutiny and new danger. Maya noticed the changes first in the staff. Smiles turned polite. Conversations paused when she entered a room. Some staff avoided her entirely, whispering in corners. She caught her name once, followed by a quiet, "She thinks she's the lady of the house now." It stung, but what truly unsettled her was the shift in Mrs. Hayes. The older woman had been her anchor, her advisor, her fiercest advocate during Evelyn's campaign of destruction. But lately, she'd grown distant, quieter in meetings, colder in private moments. When Maya asked for her input, the answers were clipped. And then came the missing file. It was a simple binder notes from the staff evaluations Luke had asked Maya to assist with, meant to restructure fair wages and hours for the household. Maya had stayed up late working on them, determined to give the overworked employees the dignity they deserved. The binder vanished from her desk overnight. 2 days later, Evelyn posted a cryptic message on her public profile. "When the maid becomes the master, the household crumbles." And somehow, details from the binder made it into a blog that supported Evelyn's camp, twisting Maya's suggestions into accusations of power abuse and vengeance against former staff allies. No, Maya's stomach turned. She searched the house, asked every staff member, but no one had seen the binder. Except one person had access to her study at night, Mrs. Hayes. She confronted her in the herb garden, where Mrs. Hayes often went to tend the thyme and rosemary when stressed. "Tell me you didn't," Maya said softly. Mrs. Hayes didn't look up. "Didn't what?" "Leak the binder. Feed Evelyn those numbers. Undermine what we've built." Mrs. Hayes continued pruning the lavender. "Be careful with your accusations, child. I trusted you. That's the problem, the older woman said, standing slowly. Her eyes were tired. You trusted too easily. You came into this house thinking love would protect you, that the truth would win. But this house, this world doesn't care about love. It respects power. Maya's throat tightened. You sided with her? I sided with survival, Mrs. Hayes said. I've been here 32 years. I've buried 4 staff who died before they saw retirement. This place eats people, spits them out. I thought maybe, with you, something would change. Then why betray me? Because you were becoming her, Mrs. Hayes whispered, slowly, without knowing, giving orders, making speeches, holding court with journalists. I saw it in your eyes, how good it felt to be listened to. And I was afraid. Maya's voice broke. So you tore it down? I slowed it down, Mrs. Hayes said, so you'd remember who you are, why you started. Maya shook her head. You didn't protect me. You weakened me. You fed a predator. I reminded you, Mrs. Hayes said, her voice trembling now, that no matter how much the world changes its tune, a black maid in a billionaire's house is still a target. Don't get too comfortable. You're one headline away from exile. Maya walked away in silence. She didn't scream, didn't cry, but that night, as she sat in Emily's nursery, reading Goodnight Moon for the 100th time, her heart ached in ways even Evelyn had never managed to inflict. She had lost an ally. No, she had lost a mother figure, and in her place was only truth, painful, old, and sharp. Luke found her later, still in the rocker, the baby monitor quiet beside her. I heard about the leak, he said, and the fallout. She was my friend. I'm sorry. Maya looked up. I'm not quitting. I never asked you to. She did it because she thought I was forgetting who I was, but I haven't. I just refused to be defined by who I was hired to be. Luke held beside her. Then define yourself. Maya met his eyes. I will. And she meant it. Because if the house was watching, so was the world. And Maya Williams would no longer be anyone's silent witness. The invitation came in a sleek envelope, tucked into the morning mail between invoices and an energy bill. Luke had already left for a meeting, and Emily was chasing bubbles across the playroom rug when Maya opened it. The card was thick, cream-colored, embossed with a gold emblem. The National Women's Leadership Summit, keynote guest speaker invitation. Her name was printed below in bold black ink. Maya Williams, child advocate, survivor, truth teller. She read it twice before setting it down beside the coffee. That title, truth teller, sounded noble, but in her mouth, it still tasted like ash. Luke returned that evening, loosening his tie as he walked through the door. Maya met him in the hallway, the card in hand. They want me to speak, she said. In D.C., 2 weeks from now, prime slot, national coverage. He glanced over the invitation, brows raising slightly. That's a big stage. They want a message about strength, about integrity, about being the woman behind the scandal, only not in shame, but in defiance. You'd be perfect, he said without hesitation. Maya waited. But, she asked. Luke sighed. But it puts you back in the fire. And this time, it's not just Evelyn you're facing. It's every critic with a microphone. Every person who's waiting for you to trip. I know, he studied her. You want to do it? I do. Then I'll stand beside you. She smiled faintly. You already do. The days leading up to the summit were tense. Reporters speculated about Maya's debut as a public figure. Some speculated she'd announce a memoir. Others guessed a political campaign. A fringe blog accused her of leveraging motherhood for fame. And one late-night talk show host joked about America's favorite maid turned messiah. Maya ignored it all. She spent her evenings in the study, scribbling in a yellow notepad, drafting her speech the old-fashioned way. Every sentence was a scalpel, cutting through noise. Every paragraph a reclaiming of breath. Emily played at her feet, Luke read quietly nearby. For the first time, it felt like a home, not a battleground. The night before her flight, Mrs. Hayes came to her room. Maya hesitated, then let her in. "I heard about the summit," the older woman said, folding her hands. "I imagine the whole country will be listening." "They will." Mrs. Hayes's voice was softer than usual. "Don't forget the women who can't speak, the ones who never made it out." I won't. And don't let applause make you deaf. Sometimes silence tells you more." Maya nodded slowly. "Will you be watching?" "I will," Mrs. Hayes said, lingering at the door. "And praying that you speak truth, but also that you protect your peace." When she left, Maya sat down with her notepad again. At the top, she wrote 3 words in bold. "Don't lose yourself." The ballroom in Washington, D.C. shimmered like a jewel box. Rows of women in suits, gowns, and saris filled the velvet chairs. Cameras rolled, lights dimmed. The stage was wide, gleaming, waiting. Maya stepped onto it, her heels steady, her back straight. The applause quieted. She spoke. "My name is Maya Williams, and before I was anything else, I was someone no one noticed." She paused. "I was the woman who showed up after the damage, the cleaner, the caretaker, the one with soft hands and a silent mouth, the maid, the nurse, the help." "Nah." She scanned the crowd. "But here's the truth. Sometimes, the one no one sees is the only one who sees everything." The room was still. "I didn't fall in love with a man because he was powerful. I fell in love because he was broken enough to see my cracks too. I didn't raise his daughter to climb a ladder. I raised her because she was crying and needed love. That's not ambition. That's humanity." She let that linger. "My presence in a rich home made people uncomfortable because it shattered the myth that kindness only belongs in certain zip codes. That love has a pedigree. That motherhood needs permission." A few gasps rippled through the back rows. "I speak today not as a symbol, not as a scandal, but as a woman who has carried both a baby and a truth inside her and refused to abandon either." Applause began, but Maya raised her hand. "One more thing," she said. "To every woman who's ever been told she's too loud, too brown, too poor, too emotional, your truth is still truth, whether the world believes it or not." Now the applause thundered, and Maya stood still in it, unmoved, unbent. Later that night, as she boarded her flight home, her phone lit up with texts. "You were brilliant. You made us proud. She's going to come after you again. Be ready." But one message stood out from an unknown number. "This isn't over. Enjoy the spotlight while it lasts." Maya stared at the screen, then she powered it off and leaned back into her seat, hand on her belly, eyes closing. Because the war might not be over, but the world was listening now. The court summons arrived in a matte gray envelope, tucked inside the morning mail like a snake coiled between garden roses. Maya opened it with one hand while rocking Emily with the other, already sensing the poison inside. Petition for custody review. Evelyn Whitmore versus Maya Williams, guardian in residence. Her breath hitched. Across the top, in crisp legal font, Evelyn's attorneys argued that Maya's inappropriate influence, unstable relationship with the father, and lack of familial ties made her unfit for continued care of the child. Maya sat down hard. Emily blinked up at her, oblivious. "Mama?" It wasn't the first time Emily had said it, but this time, it broke Maya wide open. Luke came storming into the sunroom 10 minutes later, the letter in hand, his face flushed with rage. "She's using Emily as a weapon," he growled. "Dragging her through court just to punish us. She thinks if she can't destroy me through the press, she'll do it through the system," Maya said quietly. "She's forgotten who I am. I built this empire through war. I'll burn her entire strategy to the ground." "No," Maya said, her voice like calm water. "Not war, not fire, not her way." Luke stopped. "Then how?" "Truth," Maya said. Again, and this time, in court, the legal team was assembled by noon. Luke spared no expense attorneys who'd gone toe-to-toe with Fortune 500 boards, family law specialists with reputations for quiet devastation. But Maya insisted on having someone else at her side. Geneva Walker, a family attorney who worked primarily with single mothers and underrepresented guardians. She doesn't come from a skyscraper law firm, Maya said, but she comes from the fight. Walker was a lean, fierce woman in her 60s with salt and pepper dreadlocks and a stare that could crack stone. I've seen this playbook before, Walker said, flipping through Evelyn's filing. They'll call you manipulative, unstable, maybe even promiscuous. Maya folded her hands. I know. They'll bring up your job title, your income, your skin. I know. Walker looked up, and they'll try to paint Evelyn as the rightful mother, no matter what her behavior has been. Maya's jaw clenched. But she's not. No, Walker agreed. She's not, but we'll need more than love to prove it. In the weeks leading up to the hearing, the house transformed. Evaluators visited. Interviews were scheduled. Emily was observed during naps, meals, playtime. Maya was questioned about everything: discipline methods, sleep routines, emergency preparedness. She answered calmly, honestly, but at night, the doubt crept in. Would a courtroom believe that the woman who birthed the child deserved her, even if she hadn't loved her? Would they believe that a maid, now more than that, could mother a daughter not born of her womb? Luke was unwavering. I'll testify, he said. Tell them everything about what Evelyn did, what you did. You're not her husband anymore, Maya reminded him. No, he said. I'm her father. The courtroom smelled like oak and order. Evelyn entered first, dressed in navy silk, flanked by 2 lawyers and a PR assistant with a fake smile. She walked with grace, waved to a local reporter seated near the back. Then she saw Maya, and her smile slipped, just for a second. Maya didn't flinch. She wore a charcoal gray dress. No jewelry, no makeup, just truth. Walker leaned over. Remember, they're not just judging your love. They're judging whether your love fits their mold. Maya nodded. Then the gavel hit, and the battle began. Evelyn's lawyers were polished and brutal. They questioned Maya's income, her lack of blood ties, her romantic entanglement with Luke. They referenced her pregnancy, subtly suggesting divided attention, emotional volatility, and conflicting priorities. Evelyn took the stand, tears in her eyes. I was blindsided, she said. I was struggling, but I never stopped loving my daughter. I made mistakes, but I always came back. She's mine. Then Maya was called. She stood, hand on her belly, back straight. Emily calls me Mama, she said. Not because I told her to, but because that's what I became. Walker guided her through every answer, every clarification. Did you ever try to take Evelyn's place? No, Maya said. I filled a void. I didn't create it. Do you believe Evelyn is unfit? I believe she's unwell and angry and acting from spite, not love. Do you love Emily? With everything I have. The judge watched her closely. The gavel came down. We will reconvene in 3 days for final statements. That night, Maya sat by Emily's crib, whispering lullabies through her tears. Luke stood in the doorway. You were brave, he said. I'm scared. So am I. She could win. She might. Maya looked up, eyes red. Then what? Luke stepped forward. Then we fight again. Appeal. Go public. Take it to the highest court if we have to. Maya shook her head. She'll never stop. Then we won't either. Oh. And as they stood over the sleeping child who had become the heart of everything, Maya realized something. This wasn't just a battle for custody. It was a battle for definition, for who gets to call themselves mother, and she would not surrender that title to cruelty no matter whose blood ran through Emily's veins. Rain draped the city in a gray curtain the morning of the final hearing. It tapped against courthouse windows like the steady ticking of a clock running out of time. Maya stood in front of the mirror in her room at the estate, tying her curls into a low bun. She wore the same gray dress as before, this time with a single pearl pinned near her collarbone missus. Hayes's quiet offering of strength before boarding the car. "You go in there with your shoulders straight," the older woman had said. "No matter what they say. You look like a mother." Maya turned to Luke as he adjusted his cufflinks. "Do you think they'll give her custody?" "I think they'll be afraid not to," Luke admitted. "Her name still carries weight in the right rooms." Maya's voice was flat. "Then I hope truth carries more." The courtroom was half full, the air taut with anticipation. Evelyn arrived first. Her navy suit swapped for soft ivory, and her hair styled into a gentle braid over one shoulder, a picture of maternal virtue. She smiled tightly at Maya before taking her seat. Luke and Maya sat together. No whispers, no plans, only waiting. Judge Monroe entered, a tall woman in her 50s with silver-streaked hair and unreadable eyes. She had listened patiently during the previous sessions, scribbling notes as if each word weighed differently in her hands. She began with protocol. Then she lifted the folder before her, the verdict. "In considering custody of the minor child Emily Whitmore," she said, her voice steady, "the court has reviewed all documentation, testimony, and behavioral observations." "Oh," Maya gripped the arm of her chair. "Biological parentage is a strong legal precedent," the judge continued, "but not a definitive one. A pause. In this case, the court finds compelling evidence that the minor child's primary attachment, emotional development, and daily care have been rooted in the guardianship of Maya Williams." Evelyn blinked. Luke held his breath. The judge's voice did not waver. "However, it is also the court's position that separation from either maternal figure could be detrimental to the child's well-being." Maya's heart sunk. Therefore, the word cracked through the air like thunder. The court rules for joint custodial oversight, pending a 1-year supervised transition period. The child will remain in residence at the Whitmore estate under Maya Williams' physical custody, with visitation rights extended to Evelyn Whitmore every other weekend, under review. No. Silence. No gasps. No applause. Just Maya closing her eyes in quiet devastation. It was a compromise. Not a win. Not a loss. And somehow, that hurt the most. Evelyn approached her outside the courtroom, umbrella tilted against the drizzle. "You got what you wanted," she said. "A seat at the table. I wanted what was best for Emily." "Be careful," Evelyn said, voice like a razor behind silk. "Now that you're officially part of this family, you'll find the knives come quicker." Maya didn't flinch. "I already did." She turned and walked away. Back at the estate, Emily ran into her arms with a squeal that banished everything for a moment. Maya held her tightly. Luke watched them from the stairs, emotion thick in his throat. "She knows," he said. Maya looked up. "She knows who you are to her," he clarified. "No court could change that." "But they tried," Maya whispered. Later that night, after Emily was asleep, Maya sat alone in the glider with her hands resting on her pregnant belly. She thought of every mother who ever had to fight to be seen. Every woman who raised children she didn't bear. Every invisible figure whose love was never documented, only lived. She opened her notebook, and she wrote, "Mother is not a title, it's a vow." In the days that followed, Evelyn kept her visits brief and distant. The staff readjusted. Public interest faded, but Maya's heart remained cautious, because she knew this wasn't the end. It was only the quiet between storms. It began with a cough, a little rasp in Emily's throat after her nap, barely noticeable. Maya wrapped her in a sweater, thinking it was just a chill, gave her warm soup, sang lullabies as the late spring storm rolled in outside. But by midnight, the child's breathing had turned labored, wet, and shallow, her chest rising too fast, too sharp. Her skin was hot to the touch. Maya didn't hesitate. She scooped Emily into her arms and shouted for Luke. They were out the door in under 5 minutes. headlights slicing through the rain. Luke drove like a man possessed. Maya sat in the back seat with Emily wrapped in her coat, whispering prayers between gasps. At the hospital, the nurse didn't even wait for intake. The toddler's oxygen levels were dipping too low. They rushed her into the pediatric emergency room, and Maya, trembling, could only watch as strangers surrounded the child she had raised with love and lullabies, machines beeping in frantic rhythm. Luke squeezed her hand. "She's strong," but Maya's voice cracked. "She's just a baby. Pneumonia. Complications from a viral infection that had gone unnoticed." A perfect storm in a small body. The doctors moved quickly, admitting her to ICU for oxygen and fluid monitoring. "She's stable," they said, "but the next 24 hours are crucial." Maya didn't sleep. She sat beside the crib in the hospital room, fingers brushing through Emily's hair, whispering little memories, her first word, her laugh, the way she clung to Maya's leg when strangers passed by. "She's not just in my care," Maya whispered. "She's in my bones." When Luke returned from calling the estate, he said quietly, "Evelyn's on her way." Maya froze. "Here?" she asked. "She has a right to know. To be here." Maya nodded, but her body tensed. She didn't want to fight in the middle of beeping monitors and antiseptic walls. Evelyn arrived in silence. No lawyers, no makeup. Her coat was still damp from the rain. She stood at the glass outside the ICU room, watching her daughter sleep under a web of wires and machines. "I never saw her this small," she whispered. "I was always working, traveling. I thought she'd always be there, like a painting on the wall." Maya didn't speak. "She looks like him," Evelyn added. "But her eyes, they're different now. Stronger." "She's loved," Maya said. "That's what changes children." Evelyn turned, her voice flat. "You think I didn't love her?" "I think you loved her the way you were taught to love," Maya answered. "From a distance, through gifts. But Emily doesn't need diamonds. She needs arms." Silence. Then Evelyn said something Maya didn't expect. "I hated you." Maya blinked. "Not because you stole anything, but because you gave her what I couldn't, what I didn't know how to." Her voice cracked. "She called you Mama, and I wanted to scream, but when I tried to hold her, she cried. Do you know what that does to a woman?" Maya's eyes softened. "Yes, it breaks her." Evelyn's shoulders sagged. "You think you're the only one who's been broken?" "No," Maya said. "But I think I'm the only one who let it change me." They sat in silence beside Emily's bed. Luke entered later with coffee. He looked between them, surprised to find no war. Only two women, both worn thin, both watching the same tiny chest rise and fall with equal desperation. "She's improving," he said softly. "Her fever broke." Both women exhaled. Hours passed. As dawn crept over the city, the nurses confirmed Emily's vitals were stabilizing. Maya stepped out for a moment to call Mrs. Hayes. When she returned, she found Evelyn standing over Emily, one hand resting on the child's blanket, and whispering, "I'm sorry," Evelyn said. "I'm sorry I didn't know how to hold you, or talk to you, or fight for you without hurting everyone around me." She didn't see Maya at the door. Maya didn't interrupt, because apologies, when spoken softly and unasked, are sacred. Later that morning, Luke pulled Maya aside. "She wants to talk," he said. "In court?" "No, here, before we go back there again." Maya followed him to the hospital chapel, where Evelyn sat on a bench beneath stained glass light. "I'm withdrawing the appeal," Evelyn said without preamble. Maya froze. "I still don't like you," Evelyn continued, "but I finally understand why Emily does, and if I love her, I have to honor that." Maya's throat tightened. "You're sure?" "Yes," Evelyn exhaled. "I don't want a daughter who fears me. I want one who remembers me kindly, even if that means she remembers you more." They stared at each other, an uneasy peace hanging in the air. Maya extended her hand. Evelyn hesitated, then took it, and that, somehow, said more than another verdict ever could. That night, Maya returned to the estate with Emily bundled against her chest. Luke followed close behind, quiet with relief. In the nursery, as she settled the child into bed, Emily murmured, "Mama," and Maya smiled through the tears. She wasn't just raising someone else's child anymore. She was raising her daughter. The morning Maya went into labor, the sky over the Whitmore estate was the clearest it had been in weeks. No storms, no rain. Just soft sunlight dripping through the oak trees and catching on the nursery window, where Emily sat tracing letters on the glass with her finger. "Mama's going to the hospital," Luke told her gently. "The baby's coming." Emily looked up, eyes wide. "I get a sister today?" "You do." She clapped once, then rested her tiny palm over her chest. "Can I pick her name?" Luke smiled. "Maybe." At the hospital, Maya gripped Luke's hand as another contraction rippled through her. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She breathed. Steady. Focused. She'd been through worse pain, but never something this sacred. 4 hours later, under warm lights and the quiet hush of medical voices, a cry broke through the room and Maya wept. A daughter, 7 pounds, 8 ounces, brown skin like dusk. A cry that split the silence wide open. The nurse handed her over, and Maya held her close, whispering nothing but breath and gratitude into the child's tiny ear. "She's here," Maya whispered. "And she belongs." Luke stood beside her, eyes wet. He didn't ask if he could hold the baby, he simply reached out and let Maya guide her into his arms. For a moment, the three of them were all there was in the world. Back at the estate, Mrs. Hayes stood on the porch when the car returned. She didn't say anything. She just opened the door and reached for Maya's hospital bag with steady hands. Inside, Evelyn waited, holding a stuffed rabbit in one hand and a half-nervous smile in the other. "I didn't think you'd come," Maya said, stepping into the foyer with the baby in her arms. "I thought about staying away," Evelyn admitted. "But then I remembered this house doesn't belong to bitterness anymore." They didn't hug, but they didn't walk away either. Emily came running down the stairs, arms flailing, eyes bright. "Mama, where's the baby?" Maya knelt, lowering the infant gently into Emily's arms. The child sat cross-legged on the floor, wide-eyed, cradling her new sister. "What's her name?" she asked. Maya looked at Luke. He looked at Evelyn. Then Maya said, quietly, "Her name is Grace." Emily tilted her head. "Why Grace?" "Because that's how we all made it here," Maya said. "Not by winning, not by being right, but by surviving each other with grace." Evelyn's eyes shimmered, but she said nothing. Mrs. Hayes stood behind them all, nodding once, as if Maya had passed a test only women of a certain age and pain ever understand. Weeks passed, then months. The house found its rhythm again. Not like before. Better. Maya published a book, a collection of essays and reflections called Rooms of My Life. It quietly climbed bestseller lists, especially among women over 45 who said they'd never heard a story that felt like theirs until now. Luke stepped back from his empire, piece by piece, choosing fatherhood over boardrooms. And Evelyn, she showed up every other Sunday with homemade biscuits and stories from her youth no one believed until she pulled out photos. She still bristled, still made sharp comments about curtain colors and feeding schedules, but she stayed, and Emily began calling her Grandmama. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low and the garden swayed with late spring breeze, Maya sat on a bench holding Grace against her chest. Mrs. Hayes joined her. "You built something here," she said, "and it's not just a family." Maya looked up. "It's a truth," the older woman continued. "One that says love doesn't ask for permission, it just shows up and does the work." Maya nodded. "I'm tired." "You're allowed to be, but don't stop." "I won't." They sat in silence, broken only by Grace's soft coos and the wind nudging the trees. Then Mrs. Hayes asked, "Would you do it all again?" Maya looked down at the sleeping baby, at Emily chasing butterflies in the grass, at Luke watching them from the porch with a smile that no longer hid pain. "Yes," she said, and she meant it, because the house had seen scandal, shame, betrayal, and grief. But now, it had seen redemption, and in every corner of the estate, from the echoing halls to the nursery window, one truth remained. She had come here a maid. She stayed as a mother, and now she was something more unshakable, unforgotten. She was Maya Williams, and she had a name of her own. This story reminds us that family is not defined by blood, but by love, loyalty, and the courage to protect what's right. Maya's journey shows that even in the face of prejudice, betrayal, and power, a quiet strength can reshape legacies. True motherhood isn't about titles, it's about showing up, staying present, and choosing grace over revenge.